are reading Babar and Father Christmas. Vintage Library Edition. Jean de Brunhoff. Translated from the French. Copyright 1940. It's in cursive. One day, Zephyr calls to his friends Arthur, Palm, Flora, and Alexander. Listen to this wonderful tale which I've just heard. It seems that in man's country every year, on the night before Christmas, a very kind gentleman with a large white beard, wearing a red suit with a pointed hood, flies over the countryside. He carries with him great quantities of toys and gives them to little children. They call him Father Christmas. It is difficult to catch a glimpse of him, for he comes down the chimney while one sleeps. Next morning the children know he has been there, because they find toys in their shoes. Why shouldn't we write to him and ask him to come here too and see us in Elephant Country? Let's do this one. 3 cheers! What a fine idea, says Alexander. But what shall we say in the letter, says Arthur. We must write and tell Father Christmas what we would like him to bring us, suggests Palm. Let's consider very carefully before we write, adds Flora. They remain quiet a moment while they think. Zephyr decides a bicycle would be just what he wants. Flora would love to have a doll. Alexander wants a butterfly net. Palm, a big bag of candies and a little teddy bear. As for Arthur, his dream is to have a train. Just for the record, I haven't read this since I was a child. So this is as discovering for me as it may be for you. Then, each having decided what to wish for, Zephyr is chosen to write the letter, for he has the best handwriting. He applies himself to his task. Arthur remembered that a stamp must be put on the envelope. Then they each sign their names and go off together in great glee to mail the letter. Every morning, the 5 friends eagerly await the portman. They rush out to meet him as soon as they see him coming. Not the portman, the postman. But alas, although the postman searches carefully, there's no answer from Father Christmas. One day Babar happens to see them and says to himself, "Whatever can be the matter with the children?" They look so dreadfully sad. So he calls to them and says, "Come on, tell me, what's the matter?" Zephyr tells him the story of his letter. "And you haven't had an answer? Is that it?" asked Babar. "You must have forgotten to put a stamp on it." "Oh, no, we didn't," Arthur remembered too. "Well, then Father Christmas hasn't had time to answer it yet." "Cheer up and run along now and play. Possibly you've given me a very excellent idea." Babar pulls out his pipe and smokes. He paces thoughtfully up and down, lost in thought. "I wonder why I never thought myself of asking Father Christmas to come to Elephant Country. The best thing to do would be start out at once to find him. If I ask him personally, he will surely not refuse to come. His mind made up, Babar hurries to inform Celeste of his intentions. She helps him to pack and get ready. She would like very much to go along, but Babar explains to her that she'll be needed at home to rule the country during his absence. And also remarks that queer characters like Father Christmas are often shy and rarely allow themselves to be approached by more than one person at a time. Babar arrives in Europe after a very good journey. He has just stepped from the train. In order not to be recognized, he has left his crown at home. He's just in civilian clothes. I don't know what that says. Hotel du something rouge. Du Coq Rouge. He drives to a little hotel which is clean and quiet and is given a room which pleases him. Next, he undresses and washes up a bit. One always feels so refreshed after a good cleaning up. What can be making that funny little noise, wonders Babar as he drives himself off. Without moving, he looks around. All of a sudden, he sees three young mice. The least timid of them says, "Good day, my stout sir." My stout sir. Are we to have the pleasure of your company for long? Oh, no, I'm just passing through. I'm looking for Father Christmas, answers Babar. You're looking for Father Christmas? Why, goodness, he's here in this very house. We know him well. We'll show you his room. Of course, the three little mice. No privacy for Father Christmas. How wonderful. What really extraordinary luck. Just give me time to put on my dressing gown and I'll be with you, cries the excited Babar. I love old books because it tells you the culture at the time. It kind of reflects the way they talked and the words they used. And it's amazing to me that this was a 2nd to 3rd grade book, because it's quite long and it's in cursive. Okay. But where on earth are these little mice leading me, wonders Babar as he stops a moment on the stairs to catch his breath. Oh, I forgot my Babar voice. Father Christmas must live way up on the top floor. No doubt he likes to have a good view and plenty of open space around him. While Babar's making these observations, the three little mice reach the attic. Whatever are they doing over there in that corner? They seem so excited. Where are you? Calls Babar. Up here in the attic, say the mice. Come quickly. We have taken Father Christmas down from the top of the tree. When Babar joins him, the delighted little mice say, there is Father Christmas. He lives peacefully here year-round, except on Christmas Day, when they come and fetch him to hang on top of the new Christmas tree. After the holiday, he resumes his place in this corner, and we can come and play with them again. But this isn't the one I'm looking for, says Babar. I want to find the real Father Christmas, not a doll. So silly. The next morning, Babar hears a tap, tap, tap at his window and sees some sparrows outside of the sill. They speak to him. We understand that you are searching for the real life Father Christmas. We know him well, and are going to take you to him. And off they fly, joyously, pointing out the way to Babar. They lead him across the big bridge over the river. We're almost there, they call. We usually find him around here. He sleeps under the bridges. Well, that is strange, thinks Babar. There he is, cry all the little sparrows. He's over there next to that fisherman casting his net. Babar, well, I hate he holding a book like that. Babar, still a bit astonished at this old fellow's odd appearance, greets him and says, "Excuse me, sir, but are you really the true Father Christmas, the one who brings toys to all the children?" "Alas, no," answers the man. "My name is Lazaro Campetti, and I am an artist matto, and my friends, the artists, have nicknamed me Father Christmas." Now, everybody calls me by that name. Very much disappointed, Babar started thinking along the river. He strolls along the river banks, stopping by one of the bookstalls. Stopping by one of the bookstalls, Babar finds a book with pictures of Father Christmas. He quickly buys it and takes it back to his room to examine it more carefully. Unfortunately, the text is written in a language he does not understand. He goes to ask the hotel manager for help, who gives him the address of a professor at the school where his son is studying. "Mr. Gillianes will surely be able to translate your book," he says. Without losing a moment, Babar is at the door of Professor Gillianes' house, ringing the bell. He finds him at home, but after a glance at the book, the professor says to his great regret he is unable to read it. He gives Babar the address of the famous Professor William Jones. An hour later, Babar is in this man's study. The professor carefully examines the book and shakes his head gloomily. Finally, he turns to Babar, who has been waiting patiently, and says, "Your book is very difficult to read. It is written in old style, Gothic letters. There are facts in it about the life of Father Christmas. And they say he lives in Bohemia, in the little town of, not far from the town of Prjmneswe. But I do not find any more definite information than that." Babar goes off and sits on a bench in the public park to think the matter over. The birdies recognize him and come over to inquire whether he has found Father Christmas. "No, not yet," answers Babar. "I only know that he lives far away from here, near the town of Prjmneswe. There it is, see it? Truly, this is a difficult search." Just then a little dog is passing by, says to Babar, "Burp, burp. Pardon me, sir. Burp, burp. I'm very good at finding things which are lost because I have a highly developed sense of smell. If only I could take a sniff of that doll which Father Christmas gave to little Virginia over there," which ties into the story, "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. I'm sure I'd be able to help you find him. I will be very glad to go with you because I am a little homeless dog. Upon hearing these words, Babar looks at the dogs and says, agreed, I'll take you along with me. Off he goes to buy a beautiful new doll for Virginia, and she gladly accepts it in exchange for her other doll. Babar lets the dog sniff the old doll and feeds him a piece of candy. That's a small dog. Before starting out, Babar goes back to see the learned professor, William James, who returns his book and gives him a few additional directions. Father Christmas apparently lives in a forest on a mountain, about 12 miles from Prjmneswe. Babar arrives at the little town after a difficult journey. It's very cold and a great deal of snow has fallen. Therefore, Babar equips himself accordingly. He brings some skis, hires a sleigh, and has himself driven to the foot of the mountains. Oh. Pretty soon, he has to get out, and accompanied only by his faithful duck. This is the name he has given his dog. He starts to climb in the direction of the mysterious forest, skis on his feet, and heavily laden pack on his back. Duck is very excited. He sniffs here and there and yaps softly, "Whoop, whoop." Now he stands still, his tail lifted, his nose twitching hard. He must have caught the scent of Father Christmas. Boy, I could tell you this book is hard to hold open to, and I don't want to change its condition because it's already sold. Let's see. And I have to read this before I send it today. Suddenly, Duck is off on the run. I've got it! I've got it! We're in the right track, barking through the woods, but what is stirring in the wild first? It's a band of little mountain dwarfs who have hidden themselves behind the trucks. Duck would like to see them nearby, but they rush at him, petting him fast and fiercely with hard-packed snowballs which land on his head, pelting him with snowballs. Half choked, half blinded, his tail between his legs, Duck decides to retreat. He as quickly runs to rejoin his master and arrives breathless, feeling very foolish. When Babar sees him, he stops short and asks, "What happened?" Duck then tells him what happened of his adventure with the little bearded dwarfs. Good, we must be getting near. I'm very eager to meet those dwarves. Lead me to them. Here they are. A few minutes later, it is Babar's turn to meet the dwarves. They try to frighten him and rush bravely toward him and pelt him. But Babar calmly takes a deep breath and blows it on hard in their direction. They all tumble down on one top of the other, and as soon as they can scramble back to their feet, off they run and noiselessly disappear. Babar roars with laughter, ha 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 ha, and continues on his way, following Duck, who has now found the scent again. The little dwarves have run to find Father Christmas, and they tell him, all jabbering at once, that an enormous animal with a very long nose followed them, blow on them so hard that he knocked them down and chased them away. Blew on them so hard that he knocked them down and chased them away. Father Christmas listens attentively. The little dwarfs add that when they fled, this big monster was quite near, and that guided by an ugly little cur, he was heading straight for the secret house of Father Christmas. They were right. Babar is nearing the cave, but a storm of extraordinary violence. It reminds me of the guy from Adventure Time. The wind blows so hard the snowflakes prick his eyes and skins. It's impossible to see. Babar struggles desperately, then realizes the danger of obstinately forging ahead. Blind, he decides to dig a hole for shelter. The Ice King. It reminds me of the Ice King. Because he lives in a cave. Okay. Then he rigs up a roof with his skis and ski poles and some snow blocks. Surprisingly, I remember reading this as a child. I think it's because I was worried. Because, like, how did he make that house in the snow? Phew, it's cold and my trunk is beginning to freeze, thinks Babar. Duck is also cold and tired. All of a sudden, Babar feels the earth giving way under him, and he and Duck drop out of sight. Where have they fallen? This was very concerning when I was younger. Okay. Without realizing it, they have dropped right down through a chimney into the cave of Father Christmas. Father Christmas! Cries the amazed Babar. Duck, we've arrived at our destination. Whereupon he faints, worn out with fatigue, the cold and the excitement. Quick, little mountain dwarfs, forget your quarrel. We must undress him and get him warm. They all set to immediately. They undress him and give him an alcohol rub, working over him energetically with big brushes. Okay. The dwarf chemist gives him some brandy, because that's what they did back in the day if we were sick. Then finally, Babar drinks a fine bowl of hot soup with Father Christmas and thanks him from the bottom of his heart. While Father Christmas shows him around, Babar explains that he made this long journey to ask him to visit the elephant's country. Okay, so this tour, there's a footnote here. This tour includes the big room in which Father Christmas usually lives, the room into which Babar fell through the hole, which one can see in the upper right-hand corner, the toy rooms, the doll room, the soldier room, the armory of toy guns, and the room full of trains. So, it shows all of it. So I think this is where Babar fell, one of these. Maybe, oh, this one. That's where Babar fell. Then there's all these little rooms with the stash. Won't he distribute toys to the elephant children just as he does to the children of men? Father Christmas is much touched by this request. Wow. He lives under the big mountain, not on top of it, which makes sense. But he tells Babar that he will not be able to visit the elephant's country Christmas night because he is very tired. I had a great difficulty last year, ho, 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 in completing there's no ho, ho, I'm just adding it so we could tell the difference between Santa and Babar because I only know one voice. The usual delivery and distribution of toys to the children, ho, 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 all over the world. Oh, Father Christmas, I understand perfectly, says Babar. But if this is the case, you must take care of yourself. Self-care. Even Santa needs self-care. Why not live on the Earth's surface for a while and leave your underground home? Come back with me now to our country and bathe in the sun. You will be rested and cured for Christmas. Charmed by this suggestion. Father Christmas instructs his little dwarfs to keep an eye on everything for him. Then off he goes in his flying machine. FC number 1, accompanied by Babar and Duck. So those are birds, and it also floats. So fun, right? That's pretty fun. Here they are in elephant country. Father Christmas admires the countryside is quickly surrounded by the elephants who rush over to him to welcome. Pam, Flora, and Alexander come too in order. It is hard to read this cursive upside down, I'm telling you. In order to get the best view, Arthur has climbed to the top of the house and Zephyr up in a tree. When the excitement's quiet down, Queen Celeste introduces the 3 children and Arthur and Zephyr to Father Christmas. Oh, you are the ones who wrote me, he says. I am delighted to meet you, ho, ho, and I promise you a very Merry Christmas. Father Christmas often goes out riding on zebraback. And Father Christmas takes a sun bath for 2 full hours every day. Following Dr. Kopolos's instructions, sometimes Pomfleur and Alexander come to watch him as he lies in his hammock, but they're careful to make no noise so as not to disturb him. One day, Father Christmas says to Babar, my dear friend, thank you very much for all that you have done for me. Christmas is nearly here, and I must leave to distribute the weighted gifts to the children of men. But I'm not forgetting the promise I made to the little elephants. Can you guess what I have in this bag? A real Santa Claus suit made to your measure. It is a magic suit which will enable you to fly through the air, and your bag will always be full of toys. You could take my place here on Christmas Eve. I promise you I'll return when my work is done, and I'll bring the children a fine Christmas tree. Probably they don't have pine trees in the land of the elephants. And the night before Christmas, Babar follows out these instructions. As soon as he puts on the suit and beard, he notices he instantly becomes lighter. That's what I want. I want a suit that I put on and I just instantly feel lighter. And is able to fly with ease. This is really extraordinary, and what a good way to distribute all the gifts to the children, thinks Babar. He hurries in order to get through with his task before dawn. What joy there will be in every house on Christmas morning when the little elephants awake. In the royal palace, Queen Celeste peeks through the door of the children's room. Palm's emptying his stocking. Flora's rocking her doll, and Alexander is jumping up and down on his bed, exclaiming, "What a wonderful Christmas! What a wonderful Christmas!" One day, Father says to Father Babar, "Thank you very much for all that you have done for me." Nope, I read that already. Bear with me. I need to turn the page. It's because I love this art here. I think it's awesome. Here we go. Ooh. See, there's the candles on the tree like they used to do. As he had promised, Father Christmas has come back, bringing them a beautiful Christmas tree. And thanks to him, the family celebration is a great success. Now, when I was in Germany, it has been a long time. It was in the 80s. They were still using the candles. I don't know if other countries do that now still. Maybe they do. I would be terrified. I don't even like using candles in an emergency. So, Arthur, Zephyr, Pam, Flora, and Alexander have never seen anything as beautiful as this tree, shining with lights. Okay, the next day, Father Christmas flies away again in his airplane to regions his little subjects, the dwarfs, in his underground palace to rejoin his little subjects, the dwarfs, in his underground palace. On the banks of the big lake, Babar, Celeste, Arthur, Zephyr, and the three children sadly wave their handkerchiefs. Fortunately, Father Christmas has promised to come back to the elephants' country every year. Yeah, he needs to defrost for a couple weeks. The end. I hope everyone has a wonderful season, holiday, whatever you do or don't celebrate. Just enjoy winter.